Welcome to our second podcast. Thank you to our 31 viewers. Appreciate that. Today is going to be more viewers because we have the one, the only Sean Zubor, who is the co-founder of Stonehouse, one of the fastest growing brokerages in Canada, also multi-million-dollar agent, hunter, gatherer, provider.
Lover?
Is that a good intro? Do we miss?
No, that's very generous. Very generous info.
Okay.
So I'm a practitioner of all those and trying to do all those. I don't know how well I do it, but yeah,
Nice.
not too far off.
So we wanted to kind of see. So Wayne and I think have been at Stonehouse just over 5 years.
Yeah.
And when we first went there, you had about 15 or 20 agents.
Yeah, you guys are the OGs. You are my favorites by far.
OGs.
You guys started when, it really didn't even exist.
Is this being recorded? He said favorites.
It's true. It's true. I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about it all the time.
I'm going to hold you to that.
We're gonna hold you to that.
Totally.
So where has it gone from the beginning? Where do you see it going? And sort of what are your sort of future outlook?
So for us, like when you guys joined is where we were really changing it from being just Adam's team and my team, boutique kind of thing, to wanting to grow this into something international. So we started in 2017, so this is kind of our 6th year. So you guys were pretty much there right from the beginning. Now we're on the cusp of 400 agents. Our goal is to be at 100,000 agents.
Wow.
We feel that the market, it's just me personally, there's a massive opportunity there for us to grow because there's a massive opportunity and there's a lack of education. There's a lack of opportunity for agents to earn downlines, lack of really competition out there. We feel like there's a gap that we fit in perfectly, and I genuinely feel that we offer a tremendous amount of value to our agents in comparison for the price that we charge. And we want to try to affect as many realtors' lives as we possibly can and go worldwide.
Nice. So where are the current locations?
So we are a little bit all over the place, but we're just in British Columbia as of right now.
Okay.
We're just currently getting licensed in Alberta, which should be next month.
You almost said states.
That is
Is it
very
coming?
close.
Is that coming?
Yeah. So
I want to be in Maui.
Yeah, it's happening.
Move me to that one exactly.
Funny enough, I was looking at like Florida, for a few
Yeah.
places. So
Right.
we have some strategic partners down there already. But the end of June, I'm flying down to LA, which was the last place I was actually thinking for a while.
Wow.
Just because of some amazing agents we met, some brokerages that want to switch over. So there's roughly 300 agents down there that already want to possibly make the switch. So it's all coming. That's there's 1.2 or 1.3 million realtors in the United States alone. So the opportunity for growth is huge down there.
I gotta hurry up with that. I want to write off those trips to Disneyland.
That's it, man. It's totally doable. Totally doable.
So right now, Canada, you have Coquitlam.
Yeah, sorry, back to where
Yes, sir.
your original question. Yeah, so we have Coquitlam,
Yeah.
Langley, Kelowna, and Victoria.
Okay.
And then we are on all the other boards virtually as we speak. And then we're looking at currently opening up Abbotsford pretty quick. And then we're in negotiations on a downtown location as well.
Nice. That's pretty good. So where do you see, I guess right now, opportunities for investment?
I mean, dealing with so many markets right now, and a lot of our investors want to know outside of BC, or outside of Vancouver.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Vancouver, or it could be Vancouver. Like, where are you seeing the best growth opportunities or investments?
So everything goes hand in hand. So generally speaking, the lower mainland, historically I should say, has the best opportunity for uptick. The migration to Vancouver is still huge. More or less in Canada, if you're immigrating here, the 2 major suburbs that you want to move into is either Vancouver or Toronto, right? So I doubt there's going to be a lot of opportunity for price increase that is going to be comparable to the lower mainland and Toronto. There are going to be some places like Kelowna, for example. That's one of the main reasons we opened up. That's the fastest growing municipality or city in all of Canada. Langford on the island, that was second. So most of them are actually in British Columbia. So there's a lot of opportunity there. But as far as investors are concerned, it really depends on what type of investment your clients are looking for. For example, we're bringing to market helping bring to market in Penticton, a low-rise site. We find out mid-May if the city approves the fact that it'll be an entire Airbnb. So you're getting a 2-bedroom condos on Okanagan Lake for $500-ish thousand that are generating $20,000 a month in Airbnb rental.
Right. Yeah.
And as your favorite agents, we get
First
early
access.
first access to that.
100%. Yeah.
There we go.
And so, when it comes to actual locations and where you're going, then if you go right now, Alberta, which is one of the reasons we're going, there's a massive migration of population from all over the country moving to Alberta. Calgary's price point has increased a lot because of it. It's actually the fastest migration within the country. And they have and the rental, if you look at what they charge for rent versus Vancouver, it's very similar, right? It is less, but very similar. So you're paying 30-40% sometimes less for the actual townhouse, condo, or house or whatever, but you're getting the same kind of rent. So your rate of return is substantially higher.
That's interesting because Alberta, like I have a lot of family there and stuff, and actually some that are builders in Edmonton, like they don't follow the same cycle, obviously. So even though they're getting higher rents and stuff now, is it going to be an issue down the road to sell? And
so nobody has a crystal ball,
yeah.
right? The difference between Alberta, so right now Alberta is focusing on tech sectors. They're focusing on bringing other things outside of what they were regularly doing. So, not to be a direct comparison, I look at like Calgary a lot like I look at Austin or places in Texas where you have a massive migration from the west going there for taxation purposes, for everything. And then you got traditional industries. Austin was an oil place, just like Calgary and Edmonton, but now you have tech hubs. Now you have auto manufacturers. You have everybody like Tesla. All these kind of guys are headquartering there because of taxes, and they're very friendly and safe for organizations and businesses. Alberta's trying to mirror a lot of that.
Right.
So. To your question is, in the past, it's always been boom or bust on how much the dollar per barrel cost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I feel like it's probably going to hedge itself against that with all the new types of industry they're bringing in, strictly for political reasons, basically, more or less.
I recently found out there's no rats in Alberta as well.
There's definitely rats. There's rats everywhere. Are you talking about like
there's no rats in Alberta?
the vermin or like?
No, like
people-
look it up. It's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe the
How
minus
could there not
40.
be rats there?
There's just look it up.
Summertime rats?
No. Like literally, if you find a rat, you report it.
We definitely have to
Wow.
Google that.
You
So it must
report
be
it.
because it's probably because it's minus 40 or something.
That's probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Whereas here, you're just out for dinner. Like, there's a rat. Don't worry about it.
It's rats.
It's a common thing.
Ratatouille or whatever it is.
Ratatouille.
It's just with you. No
It's
problem.
making my pasta. It's normal.
We're going off topic.
It's
now, but yes.
normal. It's normal. Yeah. So what else are we gonna talk about? And then Vancouver. So Vancouver, it's interesting. So even though the rates are high, we're starting to see
The
this-
general narrative, sorry. to
Yeah,
interrupt.
no,
the
it's-
general narrative is that the market's been crippled by the interest rates, right?
Yeah.
That's what everybody has been saying, and that's more or less reflective of what the activity has been for, I guess, the winter
Yeah.
of 2022.
Yeah.
It's picked up a lot right now.
Yeah.
Where do you see the market going from here?
So we have to remember that every type of market, when you come to real estate, when you're talking investment stocks, whatever, a lot of it is based on herd mentality, right? So it's something happens, this triggers it in the news, this triggers it in actual actions, it triggers in whatever it may be, and then all of a sudden you have enough people going, you gain this momentum, and it starts, piling up, basically. So the reasoning for the slowdown, it all makes absolute sense. You're going from interest payments, like I locked in on my primary residence, not last year, the year before in 2021 or 2022, one of those years, I locked in for 2% for 7-year fixed.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now that 7-year fix is like closer to 10% than 2%.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So obviously affordability is a factor there. However, it always relies on supply and demand, right? Now that a lot of people are, especially pre-sales have been super hot, detached homes, everything's really busy right now. Like, to give you a perspective, when you have 300 agents and you only do 90 deals in like December or January, like was our slowest since we pretty much started. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so obviously there was a lot of turmoil because you went from 2 or 3% or, people with, I have a 5-year fixed rate at 1.75%, like these crazy numbers, right? And then all of a sudden you're at 5 or 6%. It's a shock factor for sure. The one thing though, and that we notice is, and you see developers immediately stopping future projects.
Yeah.
Vancouver's always been cyclical like that when it comes to something happens to instigate where the market is going to go, whatever it may be. Then you see an immediate reduction in inventory, right? And when you see immediate reduction in inventory, there's always, and we call it the 6Ds, but not to get into deep, but there's always reasoning for people that have to move. You know, diapers, I just had babies. Well, if you're in a bachelor condo, you got to get bigger. Diamonds, I just got married. Divorce, I need to split. Death, the dead guy's not going to live there, right? Well, but you know what I mean? So there's always reasons that no matter what the situation is, housing is important, right? And so that demand is always going to be there for a certain amount. And right now that we've noticed, and once again, it's a bit of that herd mentality, that interest rates have flattened out. We are at the high of 8+% in inflation. Now we're down to 4%. Once that gets down to the 2%, more than likely you're going to see the interest rates starting to creep back down, right, to stimulate additional economies. So my guess is right now it's going to be similar to like what we experienced in the first part of 2019. You had a dip in prices anywhere between 15 to 30, 40%, depending on where it is. I was lucky enough to buy a lot of properties then, right? And then in 2021, I'm up 100% in some of them, right? So the reality is I don't think we're going to get back down to 2% interest rate again, but I think we will be in that medium. Since I was in the mortgage business prior, it's always been, you know, and now we're talking 14 years with real estate and that, it's always been between that, you know, 3%, 2.99 and 5-ish, give or take 4.5. And I think that's the sweet spot that will keep the economy going. So my gut is we're probably going to be similar to what we're facing right now for like the next year or so. Once inflation has come down closer to that 2%, you're going to start seeing interest rates go, and you're probably going to have another spike.
So do you think, I guess the overall lack of inventory right now is in part due to the fact that sellers are hesitant to let go of their own properties because if they're looking to upgrade, downgrade, or whatever, they're going to be facing these new interest rates?
Yeah.
Is that?
I think it's part of it for sure, right?
There's a lot of factors, but this is once again just anecdotal. This is what I noticed, right? So I was a mortgage broker, or I was just getting into the mortgage broker in 2008 for RBC, 2008, 2009. So that's right when we had the major catastrophic crash in the States.
Best time to join, yeah.
Best time ever, right? And so I remember it vividly because it's like, welcome to the market, right? And have a great day.
Right.
And I remember in the States, like everybody does, like you see it on the news, and everybody is liquidating everything they have.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
So the mentality, once again, that herd mentality, the mentality in the States then, and same within 2019 when they had their dip, is, oh, if market prices are going down, let's just sell everything. Right? I've always noticed Canadians to be a little bit different, and I can only really speak for this particular area. But next to a couple developers that had to do some fire sales because their banks were connected to the ones in the States and their financing was being recalled and stuff like Ani had and so on and so forth, right?
I remember
Armando, right?
Ani did that
30%
fire
off.
sale. I saw some in Port Moody. They did I forgot what they called it, but like Cam Good did basically it was a fire sale, but they had 30% off. Yeah. And they cleaned it all out like within like a couple weeks. Yeah.
And the only reason they did that is because their banks, the money that was giving, they were recalling that money.
Right.
So it wasn't because they weren't able to sell it for a price point necessarily. It's just they're like, no, we want our money right now or we're calling the entire thing. Right. This is from anecdotal, from what I've been told, right? But the point is you see places in the States that dropped, like we bought our family bought a place in Palm Springs.
What the heck? Why am I not moving? Sorry, go ahead.
We sold it, sorry. But you weren't the favorite then.
Oh, right. Okay, fair. Thanks for clearing.
But basically, this place originally sold in 2006 or 2004 for like $600,000. Pool, the whole shebang. We bought it on foreclosure for like $150 or $160, and everybody was picking up crazy deals like that, right? But if you look in Canada and if you look at the pricing, like the most we dropped and usually they get affected most, like West End, Vancouver, West Van, East End, or East Van, where you're seeing prices of like $20 million. Those might drop to like 12 or 13 or something like that because all those high net worth individuals are coming out of the market.
Right.
But if you look historically speaking, those houses drop 10%, 15%, because what ends up happening is Canadians in general, and once anecdotal completely, but in general, they're like, and I hear this all the time, and I'm sure you guys do with your clients as well, is that, oh, the height of my place was worth $2 million two
right,
years ago.
Right.
Now it's worth 1.4. Forget it. I'm just
Yeah.
not going to sell. I'm just going to hold it and wait.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So it's a different mentality. And
Yeah.
when they say I'm just going to hold it and wait because they don't want to sell it less than Steve did, even though it might be the best idea too,
Yes.
right? That has your inventory issues.
Steve had better renos.
It's true. It's true. It wasn't on a tee. There's a whole bunch of reasons why Steve should have.
It's interesting though because I have one friend that's a CFA, Darren,
Yeah.
and he's always been anti-real estate.
Shout out to Darren.
Yeah, shout out to D-Dog. He's always been sort of anti-real estate to a degree because he's done quite well with other stuff. But he's kind of saying that, if people for the next generation can't take on the same amount of debt, and also if the rates do continue in that range, people won't be able to afford it long term. But I think too, like, we don't have enough of the right product, like for Vancouver. Like all of these high rises and stuff, you can't put a young family in. So now with like the zoning changes, like the government saying, fourplexes or sixplexes and stuff like that, I think that will hopefully make a difference.
Yeah, it all comes down to there's an affordability factor,
Yeah.
right? Vancouver is a very weird place.
Yeah.
Comparatively to anywhere else in the world, right?
Right.
Like BC doesn't stand for British Columbia, it stands for bring cash,
Yeah.
right? And that's really what it is, right? It's true, and
Yeah.
you need a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
And generally speaking, like if you look at comparatively, I don't want to lie to you, but I believe that like an average family income is like 60, 70,000, if I remember last
Yeah,
time
I
I
think
checked,
that's correct. Yeah.
for around the greater Vancouver area.
Yeah.
So when your average median house price is 1.4, 1.6, 1.7, a lot of people like to compare us to places like Manhattan
Yeah.
and things like that,
Right.
where they're like, oh, it's a $2,000 per square foot. It's just like downtown Vancouver. We're
Right.
like, whatever. But the difference is the average median household of anybody that lives in Manhattan is like $300,000-400,000 US a year. It's a
Right.
big difference, right? But that being said, and I think this is going to be a major differentiator, and I think this is unfortunate, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is that now that Manhattan has been this center hub, London has been this center hub for so long, right? People understand that you won't be able to live in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Your kids are not going to be able to live in Manhattan
Right.
unless they produce the income they need to be able to live in Manhattan.
Yeah.
It is not
That's
a right,
interesting.
right? And that's why you're seeing, and I know it sucks,
Yeah.
especially when you live there, right? But that's why you're seeing, and the people that are still living there that maybe only make the $60,000, $70,000 a year is generational wealth. A house is
Yes.
handed down
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
others, and so on and so forth, right? And I think that's one of the things that is just going to take a little bit of time for people to notice that.
Well, people, it's so funny because we started so long ago now, almost 16 years. I still look young, right?
Yes.
Um,
The exact same like I mentioned. Both of them.
but
Except he's like way more shredded.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
You
So
making me blush.
yeah, but people, yeah, even from when we started, like all these sort of super small condos, 500 square feet, 400 square feet. Back then, people were like, "No, I'm not going to live in this." But now it's like, well, you have shopping downstairs, you got SkyTrain, and they accept these smaller spaces, kind of to what you were saying.
Yeah.
And even like looking at our places in Vancouver, like I think now my house is probably close to 3 million. And it's like 50 years old. My kids aren't going to buy that house, even if they're a surgeon. Not looking good. But but so they have to change their mentality that okay, maybe I'm okay with a townhouse or in a stratified place where there's a couple units. That mentality has to shift because that sort of white picket fence dream
Yeah.
of having a house, even farther out now, like
Yeah.
we're in Langley right now,
Yeah.
is kind of fading, right?
And it will continue to be like that. And that's
Yeah.
why you're seeing a lot of people moving to the Okanagan, the island, Alberta, whatever it is. Because if you want that white picket fence, but you only make about this, like
Yeah.
the reality is champagne taste, but beer budget. It is what it is, and these are the rules of economy. So. That NIMBY, not in my backyard type of mentality, and like I think what you were kind of alluding to for your accounting buddy is that this can't continue to go up. It
Right.
can, because at the end of the day, if we had a record amount of immigration last year that we've never had. Over 1 million people
Right.
came to Canada, and like I said at the beginning, there's only 2 places they don't.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Saskatchewan, but nobody wants to live there, right? Like,
Shut
so
up.
it's exactly, right? So it's either Vancouver
Yeah.
or Toronto in the
Right.
grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So if you have 1 million people a year and you don't have 1 million houses being built a year, which you don't, you're always going to have an excess of supply, or demand.
Yeah, so
versus
it comes back
supply.
to the supply and demand issue. And that's right. I mean, where are you going to put most of these people, right? They're not buying $1 million houses necessarily, but even for, condos or townhomes.
Even
or
rentals.
Even rental, there's
Right.
not
Yeah.
enough of that product. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing, and you see now, like what we charge for rent versus even mortgages. And this, like I said, Vancouver's a very weird world in comparison to the rest of the world. It's almost like its own, and that's why we've been voted the best place to live in the world multiple times, but then we're also voted the most unaffordable place to live multiple times. But if you bet against a population increase, and this is what a lot of people geography plays a massive part in all of this as well, right? So even though British Columbia, like my parents came from Hungary, right? They escaped communist Hungary. British Columbia itself is 10 times the physical size, right, of Hungary.
Yeah.
Hungary has a 10 million population. We have like 5 here, right?
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, well, you got so much space, right? But the reality is no, we don't. And because nobody wants to live in -40 and trees and so on and so forth, and the infrastructure is nowhere near there.
Not there.
But then also, a perfect example is we are landlocked. So I go travel quite a bit to the States. Like I was just in Dallas just recently, right? And even in Scottsdale. I was in Scottsdale 2 weeks ago. Love Scottsdale. Shout out to Scottsdale. But they have unlimited usable space, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. I'm downtown Dallas, looking out of my hotel room, looking downstairs, and there's a car lot. A car lot that's single level and 3 acres.
Yeah.
This is downtown Dallas, right? So in Vancouver, like there's a couple of heritage houses that look hilarious that are still there, right? But even the parking places that were 9 stories are getting torn down because those are now towers, right? And so we have mountains on one side, and we can't climb them and build towers on the peak, right? And we have ocean on the other, right? Rivers in the United States. So we are completely landlocked in this particular area, right? And so when you go to Dallas, when you go to Scottsdale, when you go to all these places, even these downtown corridors, they're not tearing down nothing, right? They're building on still vacant land that's available. You try driving between Arizona, I did this once, between Scottsdale and Vegas, right? And there's millions of acres that is just like it's like buy this acre for $12, you know, on the side of the road, basically, right? We don't have that, right? And all of that is there's nothing difference in the usability of that versus what's actually in downtown Scottsdale, right? Where the usability between like even Hope in here, what a massive difference. You're inside a canyon.
Yeah, and there's so much red tape here too. I feel like I'm not going to name the development that we bought, but it was 7 years ago, and this is completing this summer. So if you go to other places, like Vegas, States, or Asia, you know, you're building cities within, you know, that time frame, or you know, less.
Well,
So
you go to China and they built like 30 hospitals in 2 weeks. You know, during COVID, it's just crazy. Yeah.
Those flies distracting me. I thought we paid for the higher package. I'm just gonna brush it to the side there. Nice, that's good. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because I think for Vancouver, people are always sort of waiting for the other foot to drop or for the ball to drop. But, you know, for the 16 plus years, like you said, 2008, 2009, we kind of had that clawback. And really these last couple of years, we're coming off from the highs of COVID. We're really kind of just going back from some of that. So, it's interesting. But, I mean, obviously it's never a straight line, but I think, you know, long term it's always done well. And we've always said that the clients look at least, you know, 5 years. I wouldn't, you know, don't try to flip it next year, but long term.
For me personally, whenever I've spoken to any clients, always. It's the same thing basically every single time. I've never been the one to buy a pre-sale with hopes of assignment. You know, I've always said this could be an opportunity, this could be an option, and if that opportunity arises, you can take advantage of it, right? But I always tell them 10 years. That's what I said. And historically, but the reason why is historically, there have been a couple times where you broke even over a 5-year period or lost a little bit, but historically you have never in 10 years in British Columbia. Generally speaking, our recessions or where time goes down, the average period, and there's been a few of them in the last in the last 100 years, is 18 months. And it's almost exactly what played out this time. Right? Interest rates went to a certain point, year and a half later, now we're in multiple offers. You know, we just had 26 offers on one of our listings. It's absolutely nuts, right? 6 months ago, I'd be like begging everybody to put an offer on this thing, right?
Totally.
So it's always this cyclical thing that happens. And once again, if we didn't have, if we had unlimited space, I'd worry. If we had no population increase, I'd worry. But you look at like some of these guys that have this like Vancouver housing collapse groups and all these other kind of things that are, they've been on Facebook for 10 years, right? And the truth is, Were there some little times in between if you bought or sold or you could have lost some money? Sure.
Yeah.
100% there was, right? But if they bought when they originally started that group versus now, and this is the atrocity of it, if they've lost millions, probably as a total in a group, probably $1 billion in equity potential by just not stepping in. What people don't understand, and I think this is very, very important to note, if whatever their imagination believes a home is going to go from 2 million to 200,000 or something ridiculous like that, or whatever you hear, if that is the case, right, it is World War III.
Right.
Like, this is not, it is just, they don't understand the economics of the world and how it works.
Right.
If you can't, if you're selling houses for half the price it costs to build them, right? If you're, nobody's going to build.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you're not going to have a construction job. The construction job's not going to be that. Guess what? The guys that has all the tools not going to be able to sell the tools. Like, everything is interconnected, right? So the government, even if they have the interest rate at 6%, they start seeing that. How did this all happen? This all happened because they were worried about COVID, and they dropped the rates, to 0% basically overnight lending rate, right? To stimulate the economy. Something like that happens where it's going to drop from even like 60%, they're going to do the exact same thing, and it's going to shoot it back up again. Right. So,
that's interesting. It's good. It's good insights. Do you have any other questions?
I read a newspaper once.
Did you? Really?
You can read.
Sounds pretty smart
it's
when he
skill
talks.
I've been working on.
Let's go ahead and up his water allowance to something nicer next time.
No, thanks.
That was pretty good. Any other questions?
I think we're good.
That was pretty good. Thank you so much, Sean. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
That'll get our views up, I think. So
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thanks to Sean Zubor, again, our special guest.
Always a welcome guest.
Super insightful. Super insightful. Yeah. I forgot to ask him about our shares, though. Are we getting stock shares?
1,000 agents, right? 1,000 agents was the goal, right? I think.
Next time. End of the year, maybe.
And your joke, you forgot your joke too, no?
I forgot my joke.
Yes. Oh, yeah, your intro.
Joke.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a couple other things in there.
Why is he better than Adam Lloyd?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so
Did he say that? Or?
No,
he forgot.
I forgot to ask him, but yeah. All right, so second podcast. So kind of just check in with our team. I think the last one we were beginning of February, so now a couple months ago.
Right.
Right now we're at the end of April.
And it's your fault we did do it earlier.
Yeah.
Remember
It is
that?
kind of my
Because you
fault.
decided to go away.
I went away.
No, kind of.
Definitely my fault. What are you guys seeing right now? So I'm going to maybe just start off with Vero. What are you seeing right now with market? You've been busy. You had like 3 in Richmond, right?
I've been busy. I had, since the beginning, 4 in Richmond.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like the Richmond queen now.
Yeah.
Well, I know Richmond. I used to live in Richmond, so for me it's easy. And then when people ask me like, where should we go? Then it's easier to offer something that you know, like.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. But it has been, in the beginning it was okay, and then the last month, like we lost in a bidding war.
Richmond's tough. I lost out in quite a few over the years, and then we had one about a week or so ago. It was a fake price. We offered a decent, like, over
There's a lot of
asking.
that in Richmond, though.
Didn't get it. I think we were like 60, 70 grand over asking, still didn't get it. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's frustrating. But I think Richmond, because there's not a ton of inventory and that price range, like 800 to 900,000 is busy, right, for townhomes?
Yeah.
So that's good.
But you still have a lot of, I think there's a lot of opportunity, like maybe because I know Richmond. And then if you hear your client's necessities, sometimes they're fixed in one location.
Right.
And then if they are a little bit flexible, you open their mind. And Richmond has so many things that people want, like the proximity to the airport, super close downtown. They have very good schools, a lot of parks, like athletic parks, like Minoru is super nice. So I think that those things make it very attractive for people.
Close to the airport.
Yeah, close to the airport a lot, because honestly, people they are set up in a location.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, I think, because they don't know any other location.
Right.
So if you listen to them and then you show them this, they are like,
Well, it's central, right? You're pretty close to Vancouver
Yeah,
and
getting
Burnaby and
into
stuff. Well,
Vancouver and
I was
Richmond.
worried this Richmond, like the earthquake, but I guess that could be anywhere. I have a fear of earthquake too, in general, like if in the shower. That's just my own.
Why specifically in the shower?
Like glass, or if you're running out naked to try to,
yeah.
duck cover and hold.
Oh, la-di-da
So-
glass, huh? I mean,
Glass
shower.
shower.
Curtains not good.
No, our
Maybe he
I
should
don't,
shower
I don't
in
have a
his
shower
clothes
curtain.
now.
It's all glass.
Yeah.
A towel
Showering your
clothes?
clothes.
Maybe it's time you switch to a shower curtain if you're so afraid of
But I can't
glass.
put a shower curtain. It's a glassed-in shower.
It's just a towel or a rope close to you.
I mean, these are unlikely, but I'm just saying, like, where's the best place to be in an earthquake?
Probably
Not
in
on the
shower.
bridge.
Not
Not
in
in
the bridge.
shower. Not on the
shower.
bridge.
So if you follow everything, not on Vancouver, because
Not in
the San Andreas fall
Yeah.
goes from everywhere.
Best to be
So-
sitting in a chair somewhere else.
Best to be somewhere else.
On a beach in Mexico.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, so that's good. So things are busy, and it does seem like it's picking up. What are you seeing, Diana?
For me, it's kind of like what Vera says sometimes as a joke. She's like,
You just wink.
some realtors aren't eating, right? No,
Yeah.
but in the
Some
sense
realtors-
of the reality of being
Yeah.
in the real estate business, there are times when it's
Slower.
pretty
than it
busy
was,
Yeah.
and times when it's slow, and it's slow for me right now. So what
Yeah.
I'm doing is taking that opportunity to connect with clients, to
Yeah.
connect with people, to network. So I've been going to quite a bit of networking events. Talking to old clients. I'm starting to have no sort of boundaries about talking to people and telling them what I do. So I had like 24 people in my house for dinner last weekend.
Yeah.
And right after prayer time, my spiel was, and don't forget, I am a realtor.
Yeah.
And please get my name out there to anybody that you know. So I've been spending quite a bit of time doing that, which is really interesting, and educating
Nice.
people. Because I'm
Education's
finding
huge,
a lot
yeah.
of young people are going, we can't do this.
Right.
How are we going to do this? And
Yeah.
I find that people are really interested in getting information.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
been just spending my time doing that. And it's been kind of fun, actually.
Educating buyers right now, especially in this type of market, is very important, right? Yeah.
Well, education is huge, right? What's that, Scotiabank? You're richer than you think. Is that their slogan? Well, a lot of people don't know, right? Because they just think, they don't qualify,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with the rates being higher. And really, if they sit down with their mortgage broker, even if they can't qualify for what they want, they can maybe work towards it.
That's
A lot of people
right.
would be surprised of what they can still do, even with the rates being higher.
Exactly.
Like footsie here.
I see a lot of
Right.
this happening the other way around actually as well, because a lot of clients that were pre-approved last year for a certain amount, they're going back to the mortgage brokers right now and finding out that they're not approved for nearly as much in these
Yeah.
new rate conditions, right?
Right.
So it's always best to kind of keep in touch with your mortgage brokers and get reapproved again. If you had a budget before, it may no longer be the same budget that you had, unless
That's
some
right.
financial situation has changed. You're probably not looking at being able to secure the same loan that you were last year. So buyers kind of have to be aware of that as well. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing an uptick now. I think like January, February was slower. It's definitely not as busy as it was the last couple of years. I think, in general for most agents and stuff. But it's not always going to be, the crazy year. So it's nice to have a bit of a break in a sense as well. But what was I going to say? Rental.
Yeah.
I want to talk about rental rates. Oh, it's
insane.
crazy.
Oh my God.
So Wayne and I, not together, have bought places in the city of Lougheed
Yeah.
project, which is completing this summer, and they're renting out one bedrooms there, close to $2,900 a month, and these are like 500, just over 500 square feet.
Yeah.
I mean, they're nice views, aircon.
No aircon.
No aircon
No,
for
the
the rental
rental
tower.
building has-
Oh,
yeah.
no aircon for the rental tower. So it's pretty crazy that the rents are still within that range, and there's two bedrooms and dens are renting over $4,000 a month now in Vancouver. So, I mean, it's pretty nuts what you can have to pay if you're not buying too. So that's another thing to kind of discuss with clients. Like if you can qualify for something and not pay the high rents, because a lot of people that are in these lower rents from like COVID and stuff, they don't want to leave because, or if they do have to leave, they're going to be paying quite a bit more.
That is
Yeah.
true.
I went to an open house last weekend, I told you, in
Right.
Langley,
Yeah.
like just behind Costco.
Yeah.
And it was an apartment, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. It was the top floor. The tenant is paying $2,700.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, here in Langley.
And I know people are
Langley.
screaming like
Yeah.
here, going, rents are so high.
Yeah.
So a couple weeks ago, I was in Toronto
Yeah.
and had conversations with several people. I've got a family member who's looking for a place as well. And trust me, Toronto's caught up to Vancouver, even with rentals.
Really?
The rental rates there are crazy as it is here. So I think it's just everywhere. And so, as you were saying, Ryan, I think this is a good time for people to really evaluate. Do you want to be paying someone else's rent at $3,000, $4,000 a month?
Yeah.
Or seeing how you can invest
Yeah.
to own your own place?
I think that has in part to do with the upswing as well that we're experiencing right now because of the fact that the rental rates are so high. I'm obviously investors are coming back to the market in droves, and a lot of people who are looking to upgrade their living conditions are looking for stuff with a rental suite downstairs because they can probably support a lot more of their mortgage now because of these insane rental
That's
prices, right? So
Yeah, that's interesting. What else is new? You're going away soon.
I'm going away because I'm turning 50 this year.
No. No, look it.
Yeah. So I'm going away to Portugal.
Nice. Love Portugal.
Yeah.
Went several years ago. Lisbon, and I went to Porto. Where are you going?
It's long story because my sister-in-law is Portuguese, so she is telling me where to go. So I stay. I think we arrive in Lisbon, and then we're going to go to Sintra, and then from there we're gonna go to Faro and blah 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 blah.
That would be
Nice.
busy.
So yeah,
It's beautiful. It's a good time to go because it's not as hot yet. So
yeah,
that'd be good. You're going for 2 weeks, right?
we're excited. Yeah,
That's awesome.
and food supposedly is amazing. So I'll send you pictures. Not of me, but
Please.
I'm sure.
Please.
Yeah.
What else? So you're going away in the...
I'm going to Alaska on a cruise in July, and then later this year, the original plan was to go to Europe as well, but now it looks like we're going to Taiwan to visit family. So
oh, nice.
yeah, the food there is very good too. I'll send you pictures.
Oh,
Yeah, I like that.
lots of good pictures.
Is Taiwan on the verge of some sort of invasion? No?
I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know how to comment on that question as well.
We'll leave that
He'll
one.
let you know
I'm a
when he
deer in the
finds
headlights
out.
here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, leave that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's leave that question.
Leave that
for
question.
another day
Okay.
or another podcast.
Should be fine.
Another time.
Very nice. And then you guys, so just for like events in the community, so we went actually to your Latin market a couple weeks ago, which is good. I had a empanada.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Granville Island. It was nice.
And a Mexican Coke. Or just a Coke. But
My kids had a Mexican chocolate milk apparently.
Did they?
Yeah.
Wow. It was nice, no?
It was expensive for that
Delicious.
chocolate milk, but it was imported though, and it was different.
Yeah.
And they got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But that was pretty busy. Like that was like a rainy Sunday.
Rainy Sunday,
pretty
yeah.
good turnout.
Yeah.
Good
So,
turnout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Good vibes. So there's a Latin market happening.
There is
Port
a
Moody, right?
Latin market this Saturday in Port Moody,
Okay.
community center, side B, like just in Rocky Point.
Yeah.
Point, yeah, just there. So it's going to be kind of the same. It's a little bit bigger, but this time they have like children's plays and music. It's nice, and if you have pets, you can bring your pets. So it's very nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
I sent that one actually on our family chat because my sister-in-law lives right by there.
We are sponsoring that.
I'm already
so
okay, there we go.
Nice.
Free tacos and a
so
Mexican
we
Coke
should all be there.
between 12 and 1. Is that right? Nice. I know. How about yourself? You got some stuff with
I
the
got some
community?
stuff. Well, I think now we've confirmed a date for Saturday, May 27th.
Oh, sweet.
We're going to be doing,
Yeah.
yeah,
all of us.
some education
Yeah.
for people who are looking at thinking about getting into the market, or people who are looking to re-enter the market. So maybe they sold a few years ago and thinking, I can't get back into the market. So more information will come out, but we're going to have a mortgage broker and also most possibly a financial advisor.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's going to be live, so you people can show up, or as well Zoom. So we're working on all of that. As
Nice.
soon as I have all
Nice.
the details, we will have it going on our
Social media.
media.
Going back to educating the buyers and sellers, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah.
Very
I think
nice.
it's important, like you said, and we've said, people don't know. A lot of people don't know what they can do. And also
Really don't,
that
yeah.
when you meet a real estate agent, it's not that you expect something to happen right away. Part of our job is to educate you. Part of the job of the mortgage broker is to educate you. And the process can happen within a few days as well as it could take a year or two. And we're here to work with you through the whole process.
Nice. Are there refreshments at that?
There will be treats.
Wow.
Yes.
We
there will
definitely,
be
have to
treats.
go.
Ryan's
Jama-
definitely
Jamaican
in.
rum cake. I mean. You still have mine in your
I
fridge.
still have
think.
yours.
There
No, it doesn't even have to be in the fridge. I've got it.
we go. Oh.
Yeah.
I forgot. How
But
does
it's going to be in the morning, so I
Okay.
don't know.
coffee then?
But
Well-
about you having the rum cake at that hour, but we'll have treats.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys wanted to chat about I think since we were here last, basically we're seeing an uptick for sure in the market, which is good. Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to comment on? Any?
We might be doing something. You say women's
Yes.
Oh, women's
going
health is
to
good.
talk in one of our
Yeah.
upcoming podcasts about women's health.
Nice.
We will invite a young doctor from the community who is opening or has opened a clinic strictly for women's health.
Ooh, can I? Because it's so hard to find a doctor now. Can I ask her other stuff when she's here? Is that weird? Is
You
that
can
rude?
ask your questions.
Women's
but,
health.
Women's health.
Women's
She's a
will be
general
the focus,
doctor.
but she's a general practitioner.
Okay, she doesn't just.
But yes, because a lot of women are finding that they're losing their doctors,
Yeah.
and doctors are hard to find.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we had a family doctor that retired a couple of years ago. Actually, she was somewhat traumatized from my son screaming in her office. Not the reason she retired, but it's so hard to find a family doctor now.
It is.
I have to go to clinic one. I went there the other day, and the guy's swamped. He's seeing like 8 patients over like half an hour, and he was saying they can't keep doctors, which is weird because I thought they're paying them more now, but I guess it's still not enough.
They're
to
overworked.
Just overworked.
They're
There's
very
not
much
enough, yeah.
overworked. Yeah.
So
And a lot of people are getting out of general practice, it seems.
Going
As
back to
well.
the immigration, we're getting more population.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, so
not
they're
enough
going to need
doctors.
more doctors. So I mean, they've increased their wages, but I guess yeah, like you say, they're still overworked
Yeah.
and stuff. So,
Yeah.
so I will not ask her general questions. Should this look like that?
Okay.
Let's see what.
Well, something
And
else
on that
that
note,
Right.
something else that I am going to start to do, if you want
Yeah.
to check it out, is that we're gonna have interviews with some because of the market of the Latin community. We're gonna have interviews with successful Latinos.
Nice.
So
I'm in.
for the people that doesn't speak English, it's gonna be subtitles. But it's like
Ooh.
on June 5th, we will have the chef of Monarca and Ophelia.
Ooh.
So-
I've been to Ophelia. That place is good.
I'm very excited.
Good margaritas.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
that right too.
He's a super good chef. So that's I'm very excited for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm in for that. Very nice. Cool. Anything else you guys wanted to chat on? So yeah, just kind of catch up. We haven't done our last one for a couple months, but market's picking up. We got some events happening this weekend and soon. And I think Sean gave us some pretty good insights on what he thinks happened in the market.
overall, good podcast. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.